This episode is part of the transformational podcast Systems in Motion. If you want to learn more about the leverage points, please listen to the opening episode. Anna questions the way we farm, while she looks with us into the history of food production and gives us an insight into how food production can be sustainable in the future. In doing so, she asks us elementary questions and relentlessly confronts us with the facts.
Farms are meant to feed people. They should feed their community, grow what is needed locally, and always take care of their neighbors. Farms are businesses. They should earn money, at least enough to persist as a business, maybe even enough to grow and expand to work more land. Farms are the backbone of our societies. They should be protected and supported by the government at all costs. Farms are fruits of passion. They are creations of people burning for the land, for food, for nourishing the people around them. There's probably a whole family of farmers behind it, ready to put their hands into the dirt. Or what are they? There are endless discussions these days around how to farm. Organic or conventional or sustainable or integrated. But what about other important questions? Why do we farm? Who do we farm for? My name is Anna Wortberg, and I want to tell you how we ended up with the food economy that we have today and which direction the sustainable agriculture of the future should move into. The question, who do we farm for, seems especially important in regenerative agriculture circles, where the resulting products are often a bit more on the expensive side. This means that not everyone can afford these locally grown products, but instead has to resort to the abundance of cheap, processed, and often imported food filling the shelves of our modern supermarkets. If we think about it, it's actually strange that local, high-quality, nourishing food is out of reach for so many people, while mass-produced food is so abundant that whole dumpsters of it get thrown away every day. So, how did we get here? Why does the nourishment of people doesn't seem to be the highest goal of our food economy? To understand this, we need to take a very simplified look at the past, to a time when supermarkets were a new and revolutionary thing. In his book, Supermarket USA, historian Shane Hamilton says that the modern supermarket was born around the 1930s in the United States, as a contrast to more linear stores like butcheries and bakeries.
Supermarkets maximized offerings, providing one-stop shopping in a carnivalesque atmosphere, attracting as many customers as possible into a store and bombarding them with steeply discounted items so they would leave with as many goods as their vehicle could carry.
However, it was also the time of the Great Depression, and the urban population began to grow rapidly. So to ensure a continued food supply in the cities, the US Department of Agriculture began investing in research, technology, and infrastructure to connect rural to urban areas. This really propelled the mechanization and industrialization of farming, and thereby increased the popularity of centralized supermarkets, as Hamilton explains.
The American supermarket should be understood not just as a retail space, but as the endpoint of a supply chain dependent on industrialized agriculture.
Then the Cold War started between the US and the USSR. And it didn't just feature a space race and an arms race, it also culminated in a farms race. And this farms race actually wasn't much different from the space race. Who got the better technology? Who's ahead in invention and implementation? But what it really came down to was this question: which economic system can provide better for its citizens, capitalism or communism? During this time, the US government wanted to show off how well the country is doing, ideally to export their politics and assert their dominance in the world. And if you think about it, a fully stocked supermarket brimming with whatever your hungry heart could desire is a great symbol of abundance and prosperity. So this is the image they wanted the world to see, and what they wanted to see around the world. Obviously, it worked. The concept was imported basically everywhere and survived until today. What also survived, though, is this need for abundance that guided agricultural investment and policies back in the day. And those then never really changed, leaving us today with automation, growth, fewer people exploiting more acres, and a system that is more concerned with keeping shelves stocked than actually feeding people or caring for the land. If I think about solutions to a currently broken food economy, I often see beautiful and idyllic images behind my closed eyes. A small family farm, people working the land by hand, kids and pigs running around together. Then I see a farmer's market, colorful, fresh produce sold by the people who grew it. People that have a connection to the zucchinis and the lettuce and the apples, and they can tell you exactly what the best dish is to make with their purple potatoes. And that's the goal as a sustainable farmer, right? Having your own little piece of land that you can work in whatever way your heart desires. Unfortunately, that's only the insta-worthy part of farming, because farming is way more than just being on the land. Chris Newman, founder of Sylvan Aqua Farms in Virginia, US, described his job as a small-scale farmer at the Global Landscape Forum in 2019 this way.
For a farmer, you have to be everybody. You have to be the Silicon Valley entrepreneur, with the downside that you are never going to be a millionaire. Your work is going to wear you out. You're going to work 14 hours a day. You're going to lift things that weigh 200 pounds every single day. There's just all these downsides. There's the whole entrepreneurial mindset with almost none of the benefits.
So it's not just farming, it's also marketing and selling and bookkeeping and so forth. So why do we all dream of this mosaic of individual small farms? Because it makes us feel like we can return to better times, like we're in control of something. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but this nostalgia is a false friend. According to crop scientist and author Sarah Tabor, the appearance of a lot of small farms, a phenomenon also called truck farming, is actually a symptom of a broken system. It means that people with the motivation, the knowledge, and the skills to grow food don't have access to big chunks of land. It means this system has a land baron and an inequality problem. It's exactly the system that creates the conditions described by Chris Newman earlier. Small farmers need to do 5 jobs at once for half the pay, if they can even get their hands on land. And this is the place we're in right now. It's also the conditions we had, for example, in Western Europe before the Industrial Revolution. The time we often seem to look back onto when we talk about how to manage industrially caused climate change or environmental degradation. But to quote Sarah Tabor again, no society has ever small farmed its way out of an inequality crisis. Those small slivers of land that are being managed sustainably and regeneratively just aren't a threat to big landowners practicing highly productive but extractive and exclusive agriculture. So let's do a quick summary. Back in the day, capitalist governments wanted to show off how wealthy and abundant the systems are, massively investing in increased productivity and writing it into their agricultural policies. Those goals haven't changed much over time, leaving us with a system where neither the big extractive landowners nor the small individual farms can really nourish and take care of the land as well as the people. Great. Now, how do we move on from here? Chris Newman, again, has an idea for his farm that he explained at the 2021 Oxford Real Farming Conference.
What we've done is create a model that really focuses on making land, capital, but most importantly, markets available to farmers that want to come into a system.
The idea is to take the pressure off of farmers to do 5 jobs at once. Instead, people should be able to come and do whatever they get trained for and what they're good at. Growing food, or doing marketing, or processing meat, etc. So what truly lies at the center of this vision is communal stewardship of the land and the resources, not ownership of your own little plot. With the market and the administrative stuff all taken care of, Newman, who is also a member of the Chaptico band Piscataway Indians, tries to create an environment where land management can take a different, indigenized approach.
We look at it in terms of what the landscape needs, and then we bring in people who can work on different parts of that land. So it's not you get your quarter acres, it's I need you to take care of the grassland so that it keeps sequestering carbon and building soil. I need you to do indigenous agroforestry so that we can get free crops straight out of the trees and get that stuff to the people because it costs nothing to harvest it.
So really, they're trying to get people back onto the land to take care of it, to let go of the notion that one piece of land can feed you while another can't, and to realize that land doesn't need to be untouched to be healthy. In terms of leverage points, Seven Farms is introducing a paradigm shift towards working with the landscape and feeding people on the way instead of reaching the highest productivity rates at any cost. They're trying to bridge the positive self-reinforcing feedback loops around land degradation and artificial inputs that dominate the ag scene today. But how do we get all these people back onto the land? Not with the working conditions described in the beginning, that's for sure. Farms need to change their goals to actually try to feed people and take care of the land, which includes paying a living wage and benefits like any other job. In turn, politics need to change the rules and parameters, like laws and subsidies, to support these newfound goals that actually are older than all of our economic systems. Of course, changing systems and building up new collective structures can be incredibly tiring, frustrating, and grinding work. It might seem easier and more idyllic to get yourself a few acres of land and put your hands in the dirt. But what we really need to achieve moving forward is a system based on large, integrated, collectively owned, and community-focused farms.
This episode was produced in cooperation with Meet Studios.